The 1918 Pope Model T Twin at the 2025 Mansfield Rotary Club's Vintage Motorcycle Show at the Mansfield Municipal Airport in Mansfield, Massachusetts, with Dick Shappy classic cars and motorcycles. It was a beautiful day of vintage motorcycles and classic British and German vehicles set against a backdrop of the departure and arrival of small planes. The Pope Model T generated much interest and many historical questions. Pope Manufacturing Company was one of the earliest motorcycle makers in America, founded in 1876 in Boston, Massachusetts, by Albert Augustus Pope. They made a variety of things, from bicycles and automobiles to guns, but it wasn't until 1902 that the production of motorcycles began. It was his son, Albert Linder Pope, who elevated their motorcycles to one of the most technologically advanced of the 1910s. Under his guidance, overhead valves and full front and rear suspension were developed well ahead of most manufacturers. They were manufactured in Westfield, Massachusetts, not far from where Indian motorcycles got their start in Springfield, until 1918, after manufacturing turned to the efforts of World War I. The Columbia brand of bicycles started by Pope has survived despite many changes to company and ownership, carrying the torch for the fire that once lit the development of the early motorcycle. They are now considered one of the most collectible of American motorcycles as such an important part of history. The Pope Twin was the fastest production motorcycle in the world at the time and the most sought-after early American motorcycle of that era. The 1917 and 1918 T models were Pope's best and most powerful. This was the last year of motorcycle production by the Pope Manufacturing Company in its Westfield, Massachusetts plant, and they certainly went out on a high note by producing their most powerful Pope Twin ever. The Pope Model T. This example sports engine number 18T687 on its 1,000 cubic centimeter engine with overhead valves. Operated with a 3-speed transmission, it also sports a Schebler carburetor and a split-Dorf magneto. The 1918 Pope was awarded both the People's Choice Award and first place in its class.
Pope, of course. So that got the People's Choice. So your spectators voted that as the #1 bike. And who says spectators don't know anything? Hogwash. And what a wonderful job on that bike from 1918. And that's basically a track bike that was raced. If you haven't seen bikes like that in a museum, that's where you typically see that. You rarely see them at a show. Rarely. Step right up for your trophy there, Captain. Great job, Diggy.
Visit dsclassics.com for more information on this motorcycle and other antique and vintage bikes.